Welcome, subscribers! And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. What are you waiting for? Dre EMIP TV. I am here, and today we're going to talk about ISO shooting in the studio, shooting under controlled lighting, using flash and using continuous lights. But today we're going to use flash. And when you're shooting in a studio, what do you want your ISO setting to be? Actually, when you're shooting anywhere, what do you want your ISO setting to be? Now, normally we want to shoot with the lowest number as possible. ISO 100, ISO 200, whatever ISO your camera goes down to, that's the ISO typically or ideally we would like to shoot at, because it gives us a cleaner image. We will have less noise in our image at a lower ISO, because the more we raise the ISO, we're going to be introducing that noise in the image, and we don't want that. But when we shoot with flash, we could shoot at ISO 100. But why not shoot at ISO 200, ISO 400, ISO 800, ISO 1600? What is the difference? Well, we already talked about noise. That could be a difference, but is it a difference? Now, I'm gonna take this little setup right here. We're gonna shoot some fruit today. Got an apple, orange, and bananas, because that's all I can find. You know, I don't have no model. Nobody wants to come here and shoot with me. So, fruit doesn't have a choice. We're gonna shoot some fruit today, and I am going to shoot at ISO 100. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I wanna show you that I typically don't shoot at ISO 100 in the studio. I like to shoot at ISO 400. The reason why is because that's 2 stops higher than ISO 100. And what does that mean? That means we can actually use less flash power at ISO 400, 2 stops less power than ISO 100. And therefore you can get faster shoots, you know, because you're not really struggling in those lights. You're not really working those lights. So I'm gonna set this up today. I got the apples and oranges and all that. And let's turn on the camera. I'm gonna take the first shot. I'm in manual mode. I'm gonna take the first shot at, the shutter speed is 250. 5.3 is the aperture, ISO 100. The flash is on manual mode, and it's shooting at half power right now. So let's go ahead and take this shot and see what we get. All right, that's the first shot. As soon as I finish taking both shots, we're gonna take these images in Lightroom and examine them. So let me take the next shot. Let me go ahead and raise my ISO to 400. Okay, so the ISO is at 400, is 2 stops higher than 100. So therefore, I gotta lower my flash power 2 stops lower. So right now it's at 1/2 power. Let's go 3 1/4 power, 1/8 power on the flash. The camera settings, 250th shutter speed, 5.3 aperture, and 400 ISO. Here's the second shot. Okay, so I have those 2 images. Let's go into Lightroom and check them out. Okay, so here we are in Lightroom. I have the images loaded up. I have the ISO 100 picture to the left and the ISO 400 picture to the right in comparison mode. And so when we look at these images together side by side and kind of zoom in on it, here I am at the top of the orange. I don't really see any significant difference that would make me choose 400. I should say that should make me choose 100 over 400. The navel is nice and crisp. I'm looking at the transition also between the edge of the orange to the black in the background, and I don't really see any fringing or spots or just unclarity or whatever. I don't see anything that's really significant, you know, and it's so small. Today's new cameras do such a great job between ISO 100, actually ISO in general, but between ISO 100 and ISO 200, ISO 400, they're virtually the same thing. Now, I know I'll get a lot of people saying they are not. They're 2 stops difference, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I know. I know they still 2 stops difference in light, but as far as image quality is concerned, there is really not a big difference between one or the other, which will prevent you from using one over the other unless you're trying to submit an image to, it's got to be super, super, super perfect. like a magazine or some client that's really looking for perfection. But now most of us, we're shooting to clients out there, just regular everyday people, right? And I'm going to tell you this, they're not doing this. They're not breaking out Lightroom and zooming in your image like that. They're looking at your image like this. And the difference between the left and the right, which is 100 to 400, is the same. They have no idea. They're not going to look at the image to the right and say, man, you should have shot at ISO 100. Why'd you shoot me at 400? Or look at the image to the left and say, hey, you shot me at ISO 100. You should have shot at 400 and save yourself 2 stops light. Well, anyway, you got the gist of it. The difference between ISO 100 and ISO 400 is virtually negligible. I wish I could say that, so let me think of another word. Basically, it's not significant. I didn't see any significant difference over 100 and 400, especially when looking at it normal. I didn't see anything, but we zoomed in on it. We kind of put it under the microscope, unlike our clients will do. But we did it. We photographers, we like zooming in on images, and I didn't see much. Okay, so we do want to shoot at ISO 100 if you can, but if you like to shoot at ISO 400, go ahead. Well, some of the reasons are flash power. You could save on flash power, faster recycle times, save those batteries, and you don't have to shoot as hard when you're shooting at 400, and nobody knows the difference but us photographers, and even some of us don't even know. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I'm Dre. Check out my last video. I kind of cracked open that SD card that I shot the other day, or that I ate the other day, and I kind of was like amazed at the inside, man. It's just like this little thing, and some of the reasons why I'm amazed at that is because back in the day, like in the late 80s, I bought this big, massive external, looked massive back then. It was an internal hard drive, 10 megabytes. 10 megabytes, cost me like 300 and change. I actually played hooky from work that day, waiting for the UPS guy to come, and when I got that hard drive, I installed it. I was the king. I was like, man, I got more storage than anybody, because everybody, I think they were still on like 512K or something like that. Not even a megabyte. And I was like 10 megs. I was like large, and I'm thinking I have enough storage for a lifetime. Well, anyway, check out that video. That's why I'm amazed at that video, because you got this little chip right here, 64 gigabytes. And I know they even make them smaller, but even larger, but it's just amazing when you look at it. That's my last video. Please subscribe. You know it. Hey, ISO 100, ISO 400, no difference. I'm Dre. EMIP, out. You got good light, you got good flash, you're not gonna see the difference. I'm telling you, you're not. You won't see the difference in that.